Learn, do, grow, and be a little better every day. Welcome to the Small Scale Life Podcast. Well, welcome to the Small Scale Life Podcast. This is your host, Tom, and I'm certainly glad you're here today for our new show. So here we are. It is episode 240 on the Small Scale Life Podcast. At the same time, it is Ant Live 11, number 11, lucky number 11. So you're going to hear the start of the show, and there's some audio that I put in there. And if you go to the Small Scale Life YouTube channel, you'll be able to see the actual audio clip from Spinal Tap, that classic movie, the rockumentary of a fictitious rock band in Britain back in the 70s, early 80s. And it's funny because it's all about going to 11. Some people can go to 10, but this guy, he wanted to go to 11. And since it's our 11th episode of the Ant live stream, I figured, hey, let's throw that in there. And then some weird things happened where I had some extra windows open. I was trying to be fancy. You got to be fancy. I was going to pull up different tabs and do different things during the show, and I must have hit play on one of them, and I was getting feedback. So it kind of ruined the moment. Doggone it. Ruined the moment. So today's show is interesting. It's kind of a potpourri session because we're going to be talking about drones right out of the gate. There's been a lot of discussions about drones. This is a day or two after the live stream where more information is slowly being leaked out. I think our assumptions will be proven out to be true. It's contractors, it's the military, it's agents, other agencies. It's a lot of contractors doing things, testing things, and I think there was a screw up somewhere. Somebody messed up really big, and they don't want this to be getting out there. They don't want it to be public knowledge, and that's why the White House just said, the spokesman said, well, it's legal and lawful, and, there's no violations, no need to be worried. You done messed up, Ron. So something happened. They're doing some stuff and things and whatever. It's taking up a lot of capacity, a lot of energy, a lot of brain power, and it's a total distraction. So I would put it out of your mind. It's kind of an interesting thing to think about, but, as governments literally collapse around us, right? Canada's in trouble. South Korea's in trouble. Germany's in trouble. France is in trouble. Syria went under. I mean, there's major upheaval going on in the world, and they're like, hey, look at the drones, right? There's major things happening in the world, and it's like, hey, look at the drones. Look at the fleet of drones up there. We don't know. I mean, if we're spending $1 trillion on our security and defense, we should know what that is in our airspace. Come on now. Use your brain, people. Let's go. So we talk about drones. Then we get into some Christmas stuff. Christmas things are going to be happening, right? You've got parties. You've got gatherings. You have people coming in and out of your life. Some people are toxic, and we're gonna have to have some strategies to deal with them. So we talk about, Adam has 4, and I add 3 more in. I will be employing those this week. We'll just leave it at that. We have family coming in, and definitely going to be getting into that kind of mode here real quick, like within 24 hours. So we talk about that, and we kind of start to close out 2024, talk about what's left on our plate, things that we've got cooking. I just literally got back into town from driving up north to do some work. My brain was just buzzing. I didn't sleep much last night. It was like I got an hour sleep or maybe an hour and a half of sleep, and my brain just turned on. It's like, do all these things, plan all these things. We're going to do this and that and the other. And then when I'm driving home, it's like, yes, this is what we're going to do. I came up with some darn good ideas too. So I'm pretty excited about that. But that is our 2025 show. We're going to kind of talk about what we're doing to close out 2024. So check that all out. As you all know, go check out Adam Rick. I just ordered one of those delicious boxes he's going to show a little bit later in the show. I just ordered one up for this weekend. It's going to be delicious. I can't wait to have all of the flavors of Wisconsin. So I'm looking forward to that. Shop local. Support your local producers, support your local farmer, support your local beekeeper, support your local business, right? These are the people that are around us and part of our community. So plug in, spend your dollars, those hard-earned dollars with them, because they will really, really, really appreciate it. So that said, look forward to Adam and I talk about, we're kind of on the fence about it, doing a show next week maybe taking the week after that off. We'll see how we're doing. I'm going to be on vacation in a remote location. So could be interesting. Could be kind of fun. But otherwise, we're coming back right back in January. There's a lot of things happening. And I know I've said this before, but things are actually happening. So we'll catch you up on that. Things are pivoting. Things are changing. And we'll bring you up to speed on that. So without further ado, let's dive into the show because, man, I've already gone for about almost 8.5 minutes. So here we go. Let's do this, and we'll see you real soon. This is Tom from Small Scale Life. And we're live. We are live, and here we go.
What we use on stage, but it's very, very special because if you can see, the numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the board. 11, 11,
and most of
11,
the amps go up to 10.
Exactly.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it? It's not 10. You see, most blokes are going to be playing at 10. You're on 10 here, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. You're on 10 on your guitar. Where can you go from there? Where?
I don't know.
Nowhere, exactly. What we do is if we need that extra push over the cliff, you know what we do?
Put it up to 11.
11, exactly. One louder.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
We are going to 11. Welcome to the Small Scale Life podcast. And, getting a little back feedback in it. There we go. Welcome to the Small Scale Life podcast, everybody. This is Tom, and
this is Adam with Modern Frontier Farms.
Wow, what is going on? I am That's why.
I don't hear it.
I do. I got it. Perfect. Well, we're getting this technology filled out. So this is episode 11. We are going to be talking about a little potpourri, if you will, We are live and on the air. And I'm so happy that you are here. We have one listener right now, and we appreciate you. So reach out and say hello. It's been a very good week. A lot of things, a lot of energy in the air. Wouldn't you say, Adam?
A lot of weird things is happening right now. I mean, okay, we're all busy getting ready for Christmas. And then all of a sudden, what do we have here? We have weird drones going off all over the place. They've been sighted all over the world, but really like a tight little area in Jersey, right?
Well, everybody wants to visit Jersey, including aliens from far off places or strange other countries with drones or who knows. But Jersey, New Jersey, the vacation spot of the future, right? So, you have some theories about this, my brother?
I got a couple theories. I think your theories and my theories are probably kind of similar.
I was thinking Santa. I'm wearing the Santa hat. I am Uncle Claus. And so I'm thinking Santa and the reindeers are doing some prep flights. So I think that's what's happening. That's all. It's all that's happening there. It's totally fine and totally good. I don't think they'll be able to shoot Santa Claus down. So, it's no problem.
Right. So my theory on the drones is, okay, I have two theories.
All right.
First theory one is they're practicing doing some weird stuff, and it's part of Project Bluebeam. All right. Have you ever heard of Project Bluebeam?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right.
None. I have no idea.
It's a conspiracy theory that's been around since, I think, the 80s. There was a guy that wrote a book about it and basically said that the U.S. government was going to say aliens are visiting the Earth or taking over the Earth, and that's how they're going to gain total control. Well, so that's one theory, right? The other that in there, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, like the government's taking over the world or the Illuminati's taking over, right? What I am going to say is possibly happening. Yep. Got to do the triangle. Yep. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, I'm not cool enough. Whatever.
No, I have no idea.
They would not accept me into the Illuminati.
Dude, they're not in Oxford, so they wouldn't accept either one. Oxford, Wisconsin. They would not accept us,
Yeah, right. But so what I do believe is a possibility that is could be it's a distraction from something else.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's multi-purpose. It's a distraction from something else, but they have something else to do. They are trying to test out some new equipment, or there's that theory that there's some lost nuclear stuff going on here.
Right. My first take on the whole thing was nobody knows, right? I mean, okay, for those of us that look at federal budgets, right? We are spending about $1 trillion on our military industrial complex. And you've got drones flying all over the eastern seaboard and other places of the country, and we're spending $1 trillion and you don't know what they are. Help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're our only hope. So anyway, I think they know exactly what's going on, and I think there was a screw up of some massive proportions. I'm going Occam's razor on this. There was a screw up of massive proportions. They're using this equipment to track that stuff down, or they are using this equipment. I mean, right now the global economy, if you will, is very good in War Incorporated. So they are testing new technology, new drones, new types of drones to be used in these different battle spaces because technology is moving so fast right now, and the drone technology is moving so fast. You can put up a $25 million fighter, and I don't even know if that's the current price, but then a $20,000 drone does the same, if not more, and is cheap, right? So I think the ground is fertile for testing new equipment and testing it in all kinds of conditions, whether it's flying them here in Minnesota, flying them in New Jersey, flying them in Nashville, flying them near an airport just to see what people do. I don't know. That's kind of where my brain goes with it.
I think there could be several things going on. So obviously it could be simple as they're doing some sort of test. Maybe they're looking they messed up. They're looking for something. They don't want to admit that they lost something, right? The other option is when there's something like that happens, there's people that are looking at how the people are reacting. And so they're writing it down. They're going, okay, they're studying this. This is a study across the board of how are people reacting to it? Are they panicking? Are they not? And if they didn't want us to see them, guess what? There'd be a lot more reports of weird people going, well, there was a drone that went over, but it didn't have any lights on it. Well, all these have lights on it. You can see it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's authorized, or it's military contract or military. They've got lights blinking,
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they can be traced or they're being shown. I mean, come on. It's not the aliens, not today. I haven't seen one with little red nose going, leading a sleigh yet, but it's possible.
Cool. That'd be cool. Like, you know what? If you're going to do it, you might as well sit there and put a Santa hat on it, right?
Why not? I mean, I can put a Santa hat on. Look how good I look, right? This is awesome. So you can put a little Santa hat on a drone and away you go.
Pretty soon you're going to be working in the malls, just saying.
I know this white is getting a little more pronounced. I see that.
You look distinguished.
Every time we do a podcast, it's like, oh my goodness, what is going on here, Adam? I'm getting older.
Don't worry, someday I'll be that cool. Someday.
Yeah. Well, you are about 10 years younger than me, so
you only got this little bit of coolness going on right here.
Well, and I think the chin strap from playing football rubs right here and damages the follicles. That's just my theory. But what do I know, right?
Yeah. What do you know?
What do you know? So we'll find out what's happening with the drones, I'm sure, in the future, or maybe not. I think you are right about psychological tests. I mean, if you think about the War of the Worlds, right? That epic broadcast, radio broadcast, and they had commercials playing through this thing, and they were saying, "Oh, this is the symphony theater or whatever," and people still took it as gospel that the aliens had landed and we are under alien invasion, and they had troops out, they had people out with guns. I mean, mass psychosis or mass
Hysteria.
the intelligence of the masses is very interesting to study, to see what happens, especially for Americans, where we haven't had, like endless wars going like some of these other places across the globe, where they've had terrible things going on, and the masses are just, on edge all the time. We are in a different space here because we are surrounded by oceans. We haven't had a war here on the soil in a long time. So it's an interesting group to study, frankly.
Oh, absolutely. It's this is almost unprecedented for a country to not be really in any sort of real conflict for such a long time.
Right.
Was the last conflict on the soils or on the soil was what, the Civil War?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a long, long time ago.
Right.
Count ourselves very fortunate, but there's also things that happen when you do have war and you have people that experience war. The psychology of people change. We see that all the time with our soldiers, right?
Yep.
That psychology changes, and people and the civilization and the community changes upon that. Right. And I think I don't know. I could get real weird out there and say, hey, we almost need to have that disturbance of some sort or another that sacrifices something, not necessarily war, but you have to have struggle in your life. That struggle makes you stronger. And as a society, we have not had any struggle. Doesn't have to be war, but we could even self-oppose it in some way or another, like challenge ourselves. But you need to have some sort of struggle in your life for society. Otherwise, guess what happens? Life's too easy and you end up doing really weird, crazy, stupid stuff.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, look at like our piece of land or even your property, right? The growth, where the raspberries are, where the poison ivy is, where the grapes grow, where a lot of life is happening. It's on the edge, right? We talk about that in permaculture, regenerative agriculture. A lot is the edge. Mm-hmm. That's what's getting the sunlight and the rain, and there's a canopy behind it. And if you go into into our family land, which is a pine plantation, I mean, it's 80 acres of red pine, right? And it is nothing but needles down there. But you know what happens? You open up the canopy by harvesting off some trees. You let that sun and light, the light in, the water in, and suddenly all those seeds have been living dormant or sitting dormant for 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 1 year. It's time to go, and they start to grow. It's amazing. And that's why I've always said, when I do my gardening stuff, you need the seed, you need the light, you need the soil or the nutrients and the water, and then you're off to the races. That's all you need to grow plants, right? Whether it's a tree, a grape, comfrey, poison ivy, that's what you need. And that's where the chaos is out on the edge. It's not in the middle of the forest that's got that thick canopy that doesn't let any light in. That's not really where your high growth stuff is happening.
You need that disturbance. So that's one of the things we talk about in regenerative agriculture is you make a disturbance of something or another, and that changes how everything grows. You could have, just like you're talking about that pine grove.
Yep.
Everything's the same, but you sit there, take a disturbance. Like there's the seeds, there's potential in that pine grove for it to be a beautiful prairie.
Oh yeah.
It's there. But just like there's potential for each one of us to meet our true potential of who we are. But there needs to be that disturbance. Yeah. So, and that's often, unfortunately, is either war. Sometimes it's some sort of other conflict that we have in our life.
Right.
Those conflicts are what makes us grow and become better people.
Right.
And now, could you self-induce this conflict? Sure. It's called working out or giving yourself some sort of extreme challenge and go, oh my goodness, this changed me. But yeah, it's that disturbance in your life It's that disturbance in society. It's that disturbance in your soil that makes things grow.
Yeah. Yep. We did I did a podcast. Oh gosh, 2 years ago, a year ago, on tipping points. And this is a concept I've talked about for a few years now, where you have an incident, something happens in your life and your path is like this. And suddenly you're going off on this path because something big happened, right? For us, it was moving the farm was a tipping. Actually, for me, 2008, the housing crash, that was a tipping point where it set me on this path. And then there were other ones along the way, all the stuff we had with Danny was a huge one. Losing Danny was an even bigger one, where we had the farm, we were out in the rural spot, and it was like, okay, time to reevaluate this. Now let's go this way. So, tipping points are huge. And did you hear that?
Yeah.
So Jill's watching the Vikings in the other room. So, I know, right? Why is she doing that?
Is she a Viking fan or is she a Bears fan?
No, she's a Vikings fan. So, oh yes, we're house divided over here, brother.
Goodness, I don't know if I can. I think this podcast's over.
Well, we're done.
Well, no, you're still a Packer fan, so you need support.
I just heard her say dumbass, so she might be talking to me. I don't know, but oh God, it was a serious point too about tipping points and major changes. And I was just about to say, some people that I know that got into this, they were living their life and they had a big car accident, and suddenly it was like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Why are we chasing the American scheme? Let's do something else, right? So that's a big deal.
Absolutely.
For you, right? I mean, you were walking with a cane and your health was deteriorating and you had to do something different or you were going to be in a wheelchair.
Right. The sciatica was just getting horrible. I'm sitting there falling over because my back hurt me so bad, and it wasn't getting any better. So
was that from all the work over your head or on a ladder or what?
I think a lot of it. So there's two things that really kind of did it. A lot of it was just lifting stuff up, and then I would take compressors and mount them, 3-4 feet inside a unit, and I'm reaching out, holding it out away from me. And I'd have a heavy backpack on all the time. I'm on uneven grounds. It was horrible. Just like the Vikings are.
Yeah, and, I know. I hear her making all kinds of noises in there, so I think they're not doing so hot.
Yes, go. I would never say this. Go Bears!
Oh man! Oh, what you doing there, guy?
but then I also I hurt my ankle while camping and twisted my ankle really bad, my right ankle, and it just exacerbated everything because I wasn't walking correctly because of that, and it was rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, things like that happen, and you need time to heal. But you still need to keep moving forward because I'm not dead. It just hurt a little bit.
Right.
So I was able to get over it and keep moving forward. Uh-oh. He's coughing. He's going to sneeze. Bless you. Kazoom tight. Oh,
there we go. No. I bumped the cable, but
okay.
How do you think this is going to end, though? The drone controversy. How do you think it'll just fade into the night, or do you think somebody will come out and say, "Well, here's what it really was"?
I think it'll be. I think they're going to make some sort of excuse. They don't think you're going to get the full story.
No.
I heard something that there's a medical piece of equipment that has some nuclear hardware on it, or radioactive hardware, I should say, that is going to be doing something, or that they don't know where it is. They got to keep track of it. They don't know where it is. To me, that just sounds like it's an excuse that may not be exactly what's going on. Could it be? there could be just a rumor or something going on. They have a big tip, and like, hey, we got to find this thing, and it might be absolutely nothing. But I think they'll make some sort of excuse, and then I'll just kind of meh.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, there's all kinds of radioactive equipment and rods and pieces, parts for X-rays and MRIs and all kinds of medical equipment floating around out there, and there is a report of one that fits this time frame where it was supposed to be delivered in New Jersey, and the drone sighting started up in mid-November. The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission disclosed that a medical device containing radioactive material was lost in transit in New Jersey. So some parts were in a container, and the shipping container arrived at its destination damaged and empty. Now, that's not what you want. And as a person who has seen some stuff in the transportation industry for one reason or another, that shall not be named here, we've seen where containers have been broken into in transit and stuff stolen. So it happens. I mean, with radioactive material, you don't want that to happen. So we'll see what happens. I think what's going to happen is that it will fade into the night. Something's going to happen between now and January 20th, the inauguration, where this will just become a nothing burger, and it'll be kind of memory hole, put in the memory hole and forgotten about. That's what I think.
Yep. No, most likely. There's, I think there's a lot of disappointed people out there that are hoping that it would be something along the lines of, we're really going to finally tell us about aliens. But,
well, and they've had a couple hearings about that, but I don't know. Well, I don't know, dude. It's kind of like, whatever. What are you distracting me from? What are you doing? What are you doing that I'm not seeing? That's where a lot of people's brains go, to be honest with you. On the left and the right, just people, they're just like, doesn't even, what? Leonard Nimoy was talking about this in 1982, this UFO business. And then just, it went away for 30 years, right? 40 years. Mm-hmm. Hey, here we go. Here's our UFOs again.
Yeah, I do believe if the government thought that it was outside adversary, they would have shot him down. They would have been, nope, we're getting rid of this right now. Kind of like the balloons. Remember the balloons?
I do.
Yeah, they shot down several of the balloons in the middle of nowhere. They weren't sure what was in them. They didn't know what was going on with that. They didn't want to shoot them down over U.S. territory. So they're like, well, it's kind of not doing anything right now. Let's just let them fly back over the ocean and we get rid of them over there. So and we don't even know what was in the balloons. What happened with the balloons?
I don't even know. They picked them up and took them to Area 51, maybe, huh?
Oh, yeah. Area 51.
99 red balloons fly, boy. Well, I think we've done enough on drones. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do something useful.
We don't know nothing. Oh,
that's pretty much what we proved is we absolutely have no clue.
Right. We know nothing. We see nothing. That's all we know.
We are nothing.
We hear nothing. Yeah. Okay, so let's move pressing forward, shall we? Well, the holidays are here. Like it or not, we can't stop it. I've got my Christmas hat on. My Yule hat is on. We are here. We are here. So it is time to talk a little bit more about Christmas, what's coming up, maybe our little plans a little bit, and then how we're going to deal with people that are going to be showing up that might be a little grumpy or maybe a little aggressive, passive aggressive, narcissistic, sometimes just mean. I think you got some ideas for us, my friend.
Well, right. I mean, this is always a stressful time of year. We have we're buying more stuff than we need. We're paying more than we don't have time to do anything. We don't have the money to do what we want to do. And this is a bad situation, right? You're like, we're putting ourselves in situations that we shouldn't be putting ourselves into. So we're going to talk specifically about specific parties. Like, you're going to go to a party. You're not going to want to be there for one reason or another. It may be emotional. It may be financial. It may be just, you just don't want to be there. I get it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have a few of those where I'm like, I got to go. Why? I really don't want to go, but I also have someone like my wife or something, or my kids, they want to go see their cousins, or it's just and it sucks because you don't really feel welcomed there. It's like you got to prepare yourself to be at some place when this is supposed to be a joyous time of year. Now, there's a few things we can help out with that, but I think there's two real parts to this, right? Mm-hmm. So the first part is, why do you go to the party? You have to ask yourself that question. Why are you even going? And like, okay, I don't necessarily want to be around these people. Mm-hmm. They may or may not be family. They may be someone else's family. Maybe it's something with work. Maybe it's a coworkers.
Yep.
I really don't want to go.
It's duty and obligation. That's what it comes down to a lot of times. I have to because blah, these are my coworkers and this is my boss. They invited me to go to this thing. We'll just go for a little bit. Then we can leave, that whole deal.
Right.
And really, you get there and then you stay probably longer than you want to. And you see Bob from accounting doing some weird stuff. And it's like, ooh, we got to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And that stuff happens. So,
yep.
Are you doing it for the kids? Are you doing it for the tradition? Are you doing it because someone else wants you to go? Are you doing it to see someone? What you have to think about, what is your reason for actually showing up, for your reason to actually go?
The big why. Mm-hmm.
Got to ask yourself that. And then I'm going to tell you right now, you don't owe anyone crap. You don't owe anyone to show up. You don't owe it to anyone to be this jolly person or whatever you decide that you're supposed to be. You don't owe it to anyone to show up just because gonna show up, right? So with that, often, myself included, there's still this obligation. All right. So you feel like I gotta go because my spouse wants to go, or I gotta go because I don't want to look bad in front of somebody else. What would Adam do? There you go. But you also have to look at it from a spot of, is this good or is this bad for your mental health?
Yep. Yes.
If you can be, you got to just do it, right? You have to be you have to be part of your it has to be part of your mental health to go, mm-hmm. Okay, if I go here, I'm going to see Aunt Darlene or Aunt Betsy, and Aunt Betsy is going to be a total bitch. Okay, number one, you're letting her get to you, right? So that's number one. Number two, if you can't handle being around Aunt Betsy, that's a real brat. Don't be around Aunt Betsy. That's just it.
Right.
Is it your mom? Is it your dad? Is it your brother, your sister that you're not, and it's okay to admit this, you need to admit this to yourself, that you're not mentally strong enough to be around them at this time, emotionally strong enough to be around them at this time. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay just to say, no, I'm not going to go because me, I need to be happy for me.
Right. Yeah, I think, yes, knowing, doing that work on yourself is important. I've been working with a therapist all year, and we've been really working hard about boundaries, setting boundaries. Also, a thing she calls Tom's terms and conditions. right? Or Adams, terms and conditions. What are your terms and conditions? What's okay? What's not okay, right? And you don't have to take that stuff. I'd say some other words, but this is a family-friendly show. So, putting these terms and conditions in place, because it was a lot for me. It was a lot of duty. Oh, my brother's going to go up to put the dock in, so I need to be there too. Do you? Do you? Is it just an obligation thing? Are you just doing it because he's doing it? You just, do you have to do that? Who said? Why is this a thing? But if somebody's getting a little persnickety, how are you going to react to that? And play it. And Julie likes to tell me this too, start to war game this in your mind. Okay, here comes this comment. How are you going to react? And then here comes this comment. How are you going to react? And kind of have a battle plan and have it strategized out. So when this happens, it's not just going to be like, or blow up or get mad or, and it's not like you have all the answers, but you've got some things in your quiver, some arrows in your quiver, and okay, time to go. Like our friend here says, right? Come for the food, stay for a drink or two drinks there, guy, and then see ya. And hello, welcome to the show.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to leave early.
Yes,
like
have an exit plan.
I just got to go.
Yep.
If you feel like it, make an excuse. Otherwise, just say, "No, I'm gone. I gotta go." And if you piss someone off, you piss them off.
Yeah. Right. Well, you were there, and chances are, these other folks will be so darn busy with what they're doing, with appetizers and talking to Uncle Bob and, talking to Grandpa Joe. I mean, they're going to be so busy, they won't even see it kind of just, and somebody will say, "Oh, where did Tom go?" I don't know. They just left. You might get a phone call and you're like, "Well, the cattle got out, so I got to go back there and help them out or something."
Great excuse. Excuse.
Yep.
But yeah, you have to be able to, you do have the Midwestern goodbye, right? Sometimes you just got to go, okay, I got to go and just exit stage right. And you know what? I don't care what Charlie Burns says. It might be rude in his eyes, but if you have to leave and that keeps you from doing something stupid, leave. Just smile, nod, go, "Oh my God, Bob is a jerk. I'm gone." That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That is your best case scenario in that situation. That's one of your plans. Is if Aunt Bob is a jerk to you and you sit there
and Bobette.
Who knows?
Who knows
okay these days?
Yeah, totally fine with that.
But yeah, if he, she, whatever, sits there and gets on your nerves and you're like, okay, I just gotta go.
Yeah.
Instead of blowing up, walk away, leave.
Yeah. Yes.
It turns into a nothing burger.
Right. And another great piece of advice for all of us is nothing good happens after midnight, right? Nothing good happens after midnight. Repeat that after me. Nothing good happens after midnight. Yep. Time to go home, go to bed. Go to bed. There's been a lot of times in family functions where it gets to the witching hour and people just turn into trolls or turn into something. It changes on you for some reason. And things get really weird. So yes, go to bed.
So I think a part of that, and this comes into part two, is you might feel all this stress and all this anxiety. Guess what? Someone else is feeling the same thing as you are. And there might be someone that you want to team up with, another, a brother, a sister, your mom. Name that stress. Put a name on it. Sit there and go, I'm going to sit there. I'm going to, okay, for instance, for me, because no one in my family watches this. That's cool. I gotta think. If they do, maybe they'll learn something about me. But one of the things that I see is a lot of times people they sit there and they talk about themselves. They talk about the money. They talk about big muscle cars. No one's really interested in what I'm talking about or what I'm interested in, which is fine. I'm willing to just let things go, but I get left out as far in the conversation more often than not, where they don't want to, they're not accepted into the conversation because they're just busy talking about themselves. Remember, everyone wants to talk about themselves. It's about them because guess what? That's the self, and people want to talk about the self, not about necessarily about you because people are very selfish.
Right.
Here's the cool thing about that, though. You can use that if you want to gain influence from someone or upon someone, and make them get them to like you a little bit. Guess what you can do? You talk about them.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
There was a psychologist out of Penn State. He went on, I think it was 12 different airplane rides, right? And he was really good with his words. He said he would sit there and talk to people and go, hey, they'd ask a little bit about him, and he'd change the words around and start talking to that person. And he would never mention his name. He would never mention what he does for a living. He was just doing a study. And so he'd sit there and go, so Tom, you work with the railroads and you do some interesting things with that. That has to be really interesting. And you garden. That's amazing. And just talk about, if I was him, I'd be talking about Tom. And then Tom would never, and I would never mention my name. And then as I get off of the airplane, someone would intercept you, Tom, and go, so Tom, how was your flight? Oh, well, it was the best flight ever. It was amazing. And I talked to the most interesting man, and who was the man's name? I don't know his name.
Yeah.
What does he do? I don't know. This is one of the principles that is talked about in what is the name of that book? Boy, I'm being horrible with this.
How to influence people
and how to win friends and influence people.
Yes. That book.
If you want to gain someone's influence, talk about them. So if you decide that that's the route you want to go down, there you go. But once again, it's okay to walk away from that. If you like, I don't want to talk to anyone there. Walk away before Uncle Chucky decides to have beer number 42 and it starts becoming a real jerk face, so it's okay.
How about those elections? How about those gas prices?
Right. It's what that beer 4 or 5. Oh, yeah. Or drink 4 or 5. That's like, okay, this is starting to get questionable. Everyone's loose,
Right.
And
stay for a drink, 2 tree, maybe 2, and then see ya. I'm out.
Yeah, it's right around that 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
Anarchy understands that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, in our family, us siblings, we were kind of into that, having a few cocktails, mode, and then we'd talk politics and all that stuff. So we were the bad ones, actually, or the pot stirrer, shall we say. So as we've gotten older, we've kind of moved away from that. Well, some of us have anyway. So there's been a lot of work on that. So,
right.
It's good.
Go ahead.
I said it's good. It's good. Right. I do have a question for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Once we're through the lesson.
Well, that's up to you. You put it in wherever you feel that question needs to be put in here. So now that you understand your why, you get that mission, right? That mission to, okay, what are you going to get out of this? How are you going to enjoy it? And I give myself a little game, a little mission, like, okay, I'm going to get them to talk about, like, sometimes so totally stupid. Sometimes I just like, I'm going to get them to talk about mopeds. Why not? See how I can twist the conversation to them talk about mopeds or 80s rock or whatever. I make it into a game.
That is a fun game. I like that. I do like that, actually. Because it goes from, trying to be super serious and win the argument or make the point to just being a little silly. I like that. It takes everybody out of their game. Because who knows about mopeds? Well, I knew one guy that probably knows about mopeds. Oh, one more thing. I don't know if you caught this, but I had a little typo because I was writing out how to gain fiends and influence people.
Come on, fiends, let's get them.
It's friends, not fiends. So
no, it's fiends now.
Fiends now. I like it. I could put myself in timeout for that, or even ban user and delete their comments. I could do that to myself. I didn't know I could.
No.
I'll delete
we should probably ban you.
Yeah, I know. He's banned from his own YouTube show. His own YouTube channel, he's banned. It'll be the Adam Show. The Adam Family.
Wow.
So, as we're talking about mopeds and keeping people off balance, I mean, we've come up with this solution for some difficult members of the family where, when they're on their home turf, they are running the show, micromanaging everybody and being rough. I mean, it can be really rough, like kind of just icky. I'll leave it at that. Maybe even a little verbally abusive, right? In their home turf. But if you get them off their home turf and into some other environment, taking them to a resort, taking them to a hotel, taking them to my house, something like that, then they are off game. They're out of their environment where everything is theirs. They're holding on to everything so tight. And then you're an interloper, right? Because now they're on your turf. They're in your kingdom, or they're in a neutral zone. It's like playing the Super Bowl in a neutral site. And it's, even up the odds and take people out of their kingdom. That we found that works pretty well too. Now, my question was some of these people are coming to my house. So is there anything in your little outline for managing the sticky situations when they're in your home base, in your turf?
Well, it's always better to have it on your home turf, or at least on neutral playing grounds, and then it's something that I've done with a couple of people that I don't have them at my house anymore, and I don't have them at their house because their house, it's their rules. My house, they stay too long. And it's a little bit more difficult to like get them out the door and moving away, so I go, oh, let's go to a restaurant. Let's go to whatever. I don't feel like cooking, so there's a lot of reasons to do something like that. As far as when it's on your turf, just kind of go, me, I try to be the best darn host I can possibly be. Right. That's just it. Have enough food, have enough drinks, have more than enough so that people can go out there, enjoy what they have going on, and just have a good time.
Right.
But that's a lot of pressure on you. And maybe you're not ready for that pressure. So feel free to sit there and say, we should probably be somewhere else. If that person's always a jerk, well, it's again, you go to part one is, why are you even around them? Is that person making your life better? Does that person make you feel better in the long run? Does that person make you a better person? That's something for you to think about and figure out. But you also have to understand it's not anyone else's job to make you happy or comfortable. It's not. That's your job. Your job to make you happy and comfortable. It's not my job. I can't make Tom happy and comfortable. Tom can do that. Can I be a little bit easier going on him? Can I do things to make it easier for him to do that? But only he can be the one to choose to do that. So you almost have to put yourself in this mental state to start off with. I'm going to have a good time. Think positive thoughts. I'm going to enjoy myself when I'm not going to let Aunt Bob win at, they're not going to get to me. Right. I'm just going to smile and nod because I'm not going to let them win. That's part of the game.
Just like that.
Just like that. Okay. Right. Aunt Bob's not going to win this year. I'm going to win by just killing her with kindness.
Right.
Him, her, we don't know.
We don't know.
That's my great thing about Aunt Bob. We don't know. Yeah. Aunt Bob can be anybody.
That's right. Well, and it is interesting, doing a lot of work on myself, and it is just my perspective, but, stepping back from the, Coke, Diet Pepsi, or the Coke Pepsi world, and just trying to take a bigger, different view and a different look at things. It is kind of you kind of observe it like you're looking at a petri dish. It's like, oh, look at all this stuff happening, and all this noise and all this stuff going on, and it's just like, not today. I got nothing, and you just kind of observe it. They don't get sucked into it, and you're a lot happier for that, because like we were talking about before the show, there's a lot of time, energy, brain power, resources devoted to keeping everybody right where they're at and not moving forward, and they're all walking on eggshells or wondering when the next blow up is going to happen. It's just, that's a really hard place to be,
Yeah. Don't put yourself in that situation. It's not worth it. So then at the very end, boy, we're running through this one rather quickly. Is it as bad as you think? Does the judgmental Aunt Bob really mean everything they say? No, probably not. Maybe they do. Who knows? But it's just like their opinion, man, but a lot of times we're overthinking the problem. We're sitting there going, oh, we got this going on, and they're going to be mad at us because we're late, or, well, I can't just buy them just this little trinket of a gift. Like, I got to get them something nice because last year they got us something nice. More often than not, you're overthinking the issue, overthinking the problem, and you have to live your life. And I know that this is why so many people hate the holiday season, and I feel bad for them because this is supposed to be one of the best times of year. Like, this is in our DNA of being one of the best times of year, even before Christmas was even a thing.
Right.
This time of year was a thing. What happens on Saturday?
It's solstice, baby.
Solstice, the longest day of the year. It was celebrated.
Longest night of the year in the North Country. Night. Yeah.
Right.
Different on the other side of the world, for sure. But you know what I mean.
But it's a celestial event that happens every year, whether you live or die, if you're here or not, whether you realize it or not. It is something that happens, and you know what? Celebrate it. It's the beginning of the new dawn, right? The new you, a new year, and get something going. And when is this time to start? Right now.
Right now, absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, we just had the full moon last night, and we've got the solstice just coming up. What, 6 days, 5 days? I mean, it's amazing time of year right now.
Yeah, this is something to celebrate, and I know some people sit there and think, oh, it's the woo-woo stuff. Like, well, you know what? It's only as woo-woo as you want it to be. If you think it means something, guess what? It means something. If you don't think it means anything, it's not going to mean anything at all. But I like to put that magic in it. I like to put magic in the longest night of the year. I like to celebrate that, just like I like to celebrate Christmas, just like I like to celebrate New Year's Day. I like to celebrate all that stuff. Why? Because it is something special for us to focus on, and to it happens something inside your psyche, right?
Right. Yes, absolutely. I mean, whatever culture you're in, or wherever you come from in the world, I mean, there are people, ancient people, up to modern day people that have celebrated the solstice. And whether you've adopted one of the major religions or not, you're still celebrating the solstice. You just put a different label on it. So it is an amazing time, and it's a good time. I mean, this time of year is really good for reflection, thinking about how last year went, kind of closing out. And this has been a theme I've been putting on my social media in the past couple of days, is kind of closing out 2024. And we'll transition to that in a second, if we're done talking about preparing for the the parties and the people. But this is we want to make this time of year special, because there is a lot of energy and there's a lot of things going on, and mentally, spiritually, and we're about to turn the page on another chapter. We've gone around gone around one more time, and starting over and starting anew, and that's a really big theme always this time of year, and we're almost there to close out 2024. So do you have anything more you want to say about difficult people and situations before we get to closing out 2024?
I think for the most part, it's just kind of the focus is, I guess, the cliff notes per se.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything else. Hear this. It's, why are you going to go to the party or go to the events or be around those people? That's number one. Then if you're once you have your why, you need to have you need to realize it's okay to say no. It's for either your mental health, your time, whatever it is, it's okay to say no. I don't want to do it. You don't owe anyone anything. Then you decide, okay, so you decide to go, but you're still going to have that little bit of frustration. So make it a game, make it a mission, have something fun doing it. Even though you're going to be people that annoy you, realize that, have an escape plan, have those people around you that you can count on, that agree with you, and have your team. You're making your team. And then lastly, it's not their job to make you happy. That's your job.
Right.
You are the one that's supposed to enjoy it. You're the one that can make yourself happy. You're the one that can sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to enjoy myself this year, and enjoy yourself. That doesn't necessarily mean drinking a whole bottle of eggnog, but don't overthink it. Just try to do the best you can. And guess what? It probably won't be that bad.
Yep. And Tom's caveats have your terms and conditions, right? What they're going to do and what you're going to do, right? Your terms and conditions. What are just things that are not going to happen, right? And that goes with your boundaries. Those two will go together. And then third is your exit plan, your exit strategy. When do you get out there? When do you leave? When is it time to say, bye-bye, see you next year, happy holidays, and get out of there.
There's always going to be that weird conversation. Oh, well, we should get together sometime this summer. This is going to be great.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're going to do. You want some more casserole and take that home with you? I got these cookies over here, and Aunt Bob's going to say a couple words to you before you go. Here's a Jell-O mold. So for those of you who are not from the Midwest, we called it the Minnesota goodbye in Minnesota, and there's the Wisconsin goodbye or the Midwestern goodbye, and it seems to last for a good 20 to 30 minutes where you are saying goodbye forever, and then finally you have your release and you have to exit quickly before the process begins again. So it is quite the ordeal.
It's an art.
It is an art.
Oh, but just one more thing.
Oh, yeah. That is right there. Yes. And we've done it in the post-show discussion, too. One more thing.
Oh, yeah.
That should be the after party. One more thing.
One more thing.
One more thing. Yeah. I like that there. Well, that was good, man. I think that was really good, really informative. I hope our audience is gonna take that to heart. And I would dispute one thing, my friend. One thing with you.
Okay, dispute it. Let's go. Let's have it out.
Well, I was going to say that your family might be listening to this show, because if you look here, we had 74 views there on the last one, or 70 views, and then 47 views on the live stream. So actually did quite well compared to some of our other shows. So that's not bad. Plus we have the podcast going. So the way this works, folks, just behind the scenes here. So we do the live stream, and that's this one right here. And then I rip the audio and I put that on the Small Scale Life podcast, and then it automatically populates back over here. So this is the same stuff almost, because there's some additional stuff there, including a song that starts out the show. Yeah. So we're getting some views, man. We got some traction on that. That was good. That's good. So your family might be listening.
Maybe.
Be careful.
You know what? I hope. I wouldn't say I've learned to say anything. I would say it to their face if they ask. I'm not, so that's what it feels good to be a little bit more bold. It really.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's something that we're going to talk about for 2025. That was something that came out at my gathering this weekend, where there was some woo-woo stuff going on. But yeah, that was one thing that came out, as being bold and taking some risk. So we'll get into that. But first, we have to close out 2024. So do you have anything on your plate that you want to close out? I mean, obviously, you have some delicious gift boxes you want to sell.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this transition, right?
Look it. Can you kind of see that? I don't know how.
There you go. Up there a little bit. There it is. Look at that. Oh.
All right. So here's this cool looking gift box, right? So right here we have a couple my famous snack stick sausages. I have my summer sausage. We have I'm trying to figure out which direction I got to go with this. The Russian Water smoked trout spread, and a couple of great cheeses and pottage crackers. All this stuff is locally raised in my area in southeastern Wisconsin. We shipped anywhere in the lower 48. If you want it shipped anywhere in the lower 48, get a hold of me quick. Obviously, I can do it after the holidays, but Christmas is in the middle of the flipping week this year. That kind of throws it off. But I like to brag about the great flavors we have here in our area. And this is a great way for you to brag about the great flavors and get high quality foods for your friends and family. It's like a typical cheese and sausage, except it has a little bit more thought, because it's they're all small businesses. And this time of year, how important it is to sit there and support the small businesses. We really do appreciate every single sale. Like, it's exciting. I get a call. Oh, I got another sale. Yes. Whether, and then you go to Walmart and you're like, oh, are this person here going to be celebrating? They got another sale? No. What are you doing here? There's a self-checkout down the road here.
Exactly.
We'll use that. Stop bothering me. I'm working. So
doing something, anything. Bring me someone and get me somebody while I'm waiting.
If you want to really make someone's life better with your dollar, spend it with a small business. I know it's not always as easy to find them as it is going to Walmart, but guess what? The people that gets the gift, they appreciate a lot more. And the people that sell you that gift, they're really going to appreciate that sale. Like, you don't understand how excited they get when you do make that purchase. So as much as you can, buy from a small business. They appreciate it. Did I say that?
You did. And if you know Adam, he is all about the flavors. So it's all about the flavor. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So do you have any big plans, business plans, or things you want to do for the homestead to close out 2024? What's on your plate? What's on your agenda?
Right now,
what's on the agenda for Project Adam?
Project Adam. Project Adam is just a little bit of chaos here. There's a lot of things I'd love to finish up and a lot of things I'd love to do. It's just one step at a time. Keep moving forward. I'm exhausted, really, to be honest with you. Coming up here, I'm hoping to make a little bit more in the new year. We're going to do a show next week, right?
No? We were going to talk about that. So I think we should.
All right. Well, yeah.
Maybe we can talk.
I'm up for it.
I'm up for it, man. Let's see.
The 23rd. Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
All right. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what I can do to just kind of keep moving forward with a lot of things, keep my head above water. Got a lot of projects for the next year. But as far as closing out, we're just kind of in coast.
Yeah. And that's totally fine. It's totally good. Yes. No, I got it. So let's see what's happening over here at Small Scale Life, Small Scale Gardening. We've got some things popping. So this was a project that I completed last weekend, not this weekend, the weekend before. These are these barrel planters made out of 2x4s and barrels, half barrels, 55-gallon poly tanks cut in half. So these turned out really nice. I'm really pleased with them. Jules modified the design that we're going to put in the back garden, and we might even put up a couple in the front yard to try to market said things. And we're going to start working on the irresistible offer. What comes with this? Is it just a planter, or are there some other things that might come with it, like worm castings, for instance, or a trellis system that you can purchase and put on there? So we're really going to try to work with this. Also, Jules coming back with Willow River Yoga, and she's going to be doing some things coming back on the podcast, which is great. I don't know, dude. At this gathering with some woo-woo folks, it was really good because it got me to focus and really think about where I want to take this platform and some of the other things I'm doing and how I'm going to push forward and do things. So the planters is just one piece. There's going to be a booklet that comes along with it, or an ebook, if you will. There's going to be probably a couple of them. And, it's time to get going. It's time to move. We have stopped becoming our nomads. We're not nomads anymore. This is headquarters here. This is the spot. And, now it's time to build the nest and build it strong. And, this one person said, just from what I see, we'll talk about that later. He said that, there's been a lot of seeds planted, and now they're going to start to germinate and grow and produce. And this is the time. So as a gardener, that really resonated with me because it has been, this podcast has been around since 2015, and it's kind of been wandering all over the place, but things are starting to happen. And, doing this show with you, I appreciate that, man. A lot of gratitude. Thank you so much. Because it really got me consistent and going forward and getting focused. Right. And it's helped Jules too. 2022 was really hard for us, and we really wandered and really were pretty devastated. And, I couldn't do this show. There was just no way. There's too much grief and too much chaos. But now, doing the show every week, it's like, and then being here and getting the garden in place and doing some things like, yeah, we can do some stuff. We can start to really do some stuff. So I'm pretty excited about that, man. And another big element of that is, starting to work on Project Tom, myself, and really stop over consuming and rise. So that's something that we're going to be working on too.
Yeah, I think we'll have to talk about some of our goals here before the new year, or what are kind of what's going to bring us to that point of success, right?
Right.
I think that'd be a fun thing to discuss. But I think what it comes down to when you finally find that homestead or that house that you're like, okay, this is it. We're not going to be nomads anymore.
Yep.
I kind of equate it to getting married, right? It's you sit there, you finally at a certain point, you're like, okay, I'm not dating anymore. Yes, I was committed to my wife for 5 years before we got married, but it puts a finalization in that.
Yes.
Right? To sit there and go, okay, we're here. Now we can make plans. Now we can grow. We can grow our tomatoes. We can grow our fruit trees, because guess what? When you're moving around all the time, it's really difficult for you to really make that soil what it needs to be.
Yes.
To plant those trees that are going to produce for years after years after years, because we don't know if the next person's going to appreciate that cherry tree or that peach tree or a plum tree. Right. So now this is yours. This is your legacy that you're going to be building here. And that's awesome. That really is.
Yeah. I mean, being here right on the shores of the Willow River, and seeing the osprey and the eagles and the hummingbirds and the orioles and all the different birds that come through here. It's really something special, and it really speaks to the kind of people we are and all that good stuff. So, it's going to be good. One more thing to close out before we get to solstice. I've got my Yule log, and this is a cool piece of poplar that I pulled out of the Wisconsin River near Stevens Point, and it's all gnawed up by a beaver. It just kind of cool piece, and it's just kind of cool. I'm not going to burn it though. It's kind of too cool to burn, So I've got another piece for that. So I'm going to take your advice on that. So, but I really like working with this, and I just. With all the projects, the planters, the wood rack, this thing, it just tells me, working with wood is really good. It's really good for my soul, and something I can do and do well. So, I just want to make this thing really cool, because it's so cool. How often do you pull a piece of poplar out that's been gnawed on by a beaver?
I don't know. I don't know if I ever pulled poplar out of the Wisconsin River that was gnawed on by a beaver.
There you go. We can start making jokes anytime now.
Yes, I'm so. You're doing this to me on purpose. In all reality, we know. This, right?
I know I am. Well, that's why I am Uncle Claus, brother. Oh gosh, I don't know what I'm going to be down your way next. I'm sure after the new year, because things are going to be happening here toward just kind of shutting down and doing a little bit of travel here before the end of the year. But it'll probably be in the new year, depending what my partner wants to do and everything. But that'll be good to get down there and see you. But yeah, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to 2025, and it would. I think show wise, I think next week would be great. I think the 30th might be a little tricky because I'll be in Tejas, but I'll have my computer with me and my gear. I don't see why that would be a problem.
That's up to you. If you want to, I'm game. So, well, let's take it 1 week at a time. So we'll see everyone on the 23rd.
Yep.
And we'll talk about something. I don't know what we'll talk about. We'll figure it out.
Again, if the live audience has anything you'd like to talk about, any topics, let us know here at the Ant Live or Small Scale Life Podcast. Put a comment here in the show note or down in the comments. We'll see those, and we'll translate that into a show in the future, within reason, of course.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Or we'll just make it up as we go along. So,
that's what we do.
One more thing.
Just real quick.
Yeah, go. Yeah, one more thing.
Before you go.
See, hush over there, you. There's the Vikings are up 13-0
Oh, I'm
with
sorry.
13:47 in the third quarter.
Oh, well.
Yeah, right. And Yellowstone, the season is coming to an end. Could be the series, but they might come back for another season. So if you're a fan of Yellowstone, check that out. We have the last season to watch, or the
Don't
last
even get me
episode to
started
watch.
with Yellowstone.
You don't like it?
Oh, I think it's a great show. Just we'll have to talk about my feelings on Yellowstone sometime.
Maybe that's what we should talk about next week.
No, probably not.
No?
We'll get there. I'll explain it to you first, and then we can talk about it.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I would really love to get your take on that, because here they had like hundreds of thousands of acres and just can't do it? Really? What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What's your price point? What are you doing?
Right.
Right? Because I know a guy who's got 8 acres and he's got some cows and he's got cows over at another place and he's doing good stuff. And yeah, not hundreds of thousands of acres in Montana.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah. I'd love to get your take on that, dude. That interests me, especially with the finale coming up here or right here. So,
all right,
let's do it. It'll be fun.
Oh,
look
boy. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
No promise on that one.
All right, everybody. Well, this is Tom.
And this is Adam.
And we appreciate you being here tonight. We really do. Thanks for all the comments. And we'll be seeing you real soon. Hope you have a great 2 weeks here, or 10 days, 9 days before the Christmas holiday and then before New Year's. And remember the 4 tips plus Tom's 3 bonuses and get through the holidays. So order yourself up a box from Adam, this guy right here. They look delicious. So make sure you drink with your pinkies up and learn to grow, be a little better every day.
Pinkies up.
Pinkies up. That's a showstopper right there.
Yeah, we should probably stop the show.
I know. Take care, everybody. We'll see you real soon. In closing, from the north to the south, from the east to the west, and everywhere in between, may the gods, spirits, and folk be blessed at this place. May we heal the land and protect the soil, animals, and plants. May we live in strength and love, leading the way as we learn, do, grow, and be a little better every day. This is Tom from the Small Scale Life Podcast. We'll be back with another show. In the meantime, stay safe and take care, everybody. This has been a production of Small Scale Life Media. Yes, I admit I've got a drone problem, and they're always on my mind. I see them flying round and round. I've tried to explain them 1,000 times. Yes, I admit I've got a drone problem, popping up everywhere, following me and always trying to stare. This is a Small Scale Life twin spin, baby. Let's go. You know I never see my plants look so good, growing tall and straight like they should. But I like it, and I know you like it too. Growing veggies for me and you. I've got to grow them, oh yes I do. 'Cause baby we'll be growing veggies by the lake shore. Behind those grasses, wicking beds producing more. Starting seeds in the basement, growing plants on the floor, and baby, talk dirt to me. Woo woo! Come on, Jules, talk to me. Dee 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 dee. Whoo whoo whoo. You never know what you're going to get on Small Scale Life. Bada boom, bada bing. It's delicious. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. One more important note. Small Scale Life reminds you that we are not licensed doctors, therapists, healthcare professionals, or financial professionals. You should always consult a professional before starting any practice. All information shared on Small Scale Life or the Small Scale Life podcast are for informational and inspirational purposes. Results will always vary, and participation in any practice or activity is completely voluntary and at your own risk. That said, keep learning, doing, growing, and being a little better every day. You've got this.